And finally today, film director Oliver Stone is no stranger to controversy, and he is getting himself into another one. Kaylee Hartung sat down with him at the National Press Club. And Kaylee, what's he up to now?
Well, Bob, in his new film, South of the Border, he's out to dispel what he calls America's misperception of South America and its leaders. In his story, the United States is the bad guy, and we're seeing a new side of Venezuela's Hugo Chavez.
Obviously, our State Department the Bush administration does not like this guy because he represents an anti-corporate interest. He's taken over the oil and he's distributed it to the poor people. So Morales in Bolivia has done the same thing all through the region. These 6 countries that we visit made it very clear that they would like to have their own resources back. And they don't want U.S. intervention. That's what it's about. It's about America's control of South America.
And when did you realize that this project was about more than just Mr. Chavez?
When he told me, he said, look, don't take my word for it. Go out and see what's going on in the region. He's right. I should have known more, but we don't get much report about that. And historically, this is truly significant. There's never been, since I know, a time when 6 countries were on their own path at the same time and unified under the UNASUR agreements. So this is quite something. In the past, we always were able to, if the reformer came along, we destabilized the situation through our efforts quietly, covertly, through the collaborators we have in the region, and we take them out. Castro is the only successful person who, and I'm not going to emphasize his communist credentials, but he wanted independence for Cuba. This was independence. This is about independence in all these countries. It's not about socialism, communism, or they're all duly elected people. There's been no dictators in this group, none at all. Our American people believe that these guys are bad guys, and they're not. They really care about the people. They're ideal leaders. They're elected. They're trade union people, lawyers. They're people. They come from the class that elected them. One of them is, in fact, a priest in Paraguay. He's in the movie. You see him. He's a liberation theology priest. Another, Chavez is elected 3 times as president, and there's been several referendums, all internationally monitored. The democratic system in Venezuela is better than our system because they have an electronic ballot and a paper ballot, both. Better than Florida 2000. So, we're holding them to this ridiculous, hypocritical. We really, it's malice. There's malice aforethought here. There's no question about it. We went out. There's a coup d'etat that took place in Venezuela. We were involved in it, and we wanted Chavez out because he was a danger to our system of thinking.
And this message from the governments down there, you're here in Washington. Do you plan to bring that message to our government?
Yeah, I'm going to put it on Obama's desk. The film goes today. Of course, but do they pay any attention? There's a very strange gridlock in our system. The corporations own this country. They have tremendous power. The oil companies are huge. They don't want to hear any talk about losing their profits. They don't realize that the oil belongs to the people of the land, not to them. So we have a system we have, the problems. We have banking, we have oil, we have insurance, and health. We have these issues. There are huge lobbies out there, and they control what we do. We can't get back to that. I think the Latins are 20 years ahead of us because they're thinking about the good of society and getting the resources of their lands back to the people. I wish we'd hear that kind of talk in this BP crisis right now.
You mentioned the BP crisis, oil, our focus on it. With an energy bill hanging in the balance, do you think that that's something, an agenda that this movie could help move
Well, the
forward?
Earth is going to teach us the lesson. The Earth always does, right? Mother Nature knows best. I don't think that it will become a matter of necessity. We are such an empire all around the world. We have so many military bases and troops and expenditures. I don't know that we can afford to continue this excess. It's clear now in Afghanistan that it's cracking. Iraq is a complete disaster. Now, here we are trying to make enemies with Iran and going to war if necessary. We've lost control we've lost control.
What surprised you all most in making this film?
How screwed up our press is, how screwed up the media is to report this, how screwed up our foreign policy is, and how right these people are about how to. They want mutual respect with the United States and with the world, and that's true about all our relations. Our relations are unilateral. We're the policemen of the world. We behave like we know best. Father knows best. It doesn't work anymore. Never did, actually.
So what's next for you, Mr. Stone?
What's next is I'm working on Secret History of the United States. That's my 10-hour documentary. I'll show it on CBS.
Please do.
And in it, we really go after the American foreign policy from 1900 to 2010, and we try to show how we became a national security state. Which I grew up in World War 1946 on, so I saw I'm the Cold War baby, and I see how this system has gotten more and more paralyzed and rigid.
Oliver Stone, you might not always agree with him, but you can always count on him to stir the pot.